Welcome once again, everybody, to another edition of B&B Hockey Talk. Remember to like us on Facebook, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and, of course, we post on our Facebook page all the exciting highlights of the hockey games. But I'm Aaron Bloxel with my co-host, Mr. Matt Balzer, and today we're going to go through 10 games last night on the menu. Only 2 on tonight. For those of you that are watching, Carolina, Columbus 1-1 right now, and Svechnikov with his first NHL point, only a minute 34 into the game. So trying to keep pace with Pettersson stride for the Calder. I know it's early yet, but let's jump right into last night's games, as there was lots of them. First off, Buffalo shut out by Boston 4-0. Boston with a big comeback game after losing and getting trounced 7-0. Brad Marchand, apparently old school Bruin, takes it out on Eller, lays a smackdown, comes back 4 assists last night. What else stood out for you, Matt, from that game?
I know, yeah. Well, Halak was solid in net, making 32 saves for the shutout. Continued his strong play after he came in for Rask in Washington the night before. But yeah, that whole top line, like Pastrnak had a goal, and Bergeron also had a goal and 2 points. So that top line that was pretty quiet against Washington came to life against Buffalo, but that's not much of a surprise. And Rasmus Dahlin played just over 22 and a half minutes in his debut. Didn't have any shots on goal or anything, but ate a whole lot of minutes out on the ice.
I saw some of the saves Halak made were pretty high-quality. Buffalo, lots of shots on net, but Halak was solid. Islanders beat Carolina 2-1, and not only did Barzal and Bailey come through in overtime, Thomas Greiss with I think he had 41 saves in the game. Looks like Barry Trotz's defensive system maybe allowing a lot of shots still, but definitely stoppable pucks. What did you think of that game?
Yeah. So, the New York Islanders were outshot 46-20 in the overtime win. So, yeah, Greiss with 45 saves. But yeah, I think a lot of the young guys came to play. Jordan Staal led the way with 7 shots on goal, and he had the Hurricanes' lone goal last night. But, Greiss stood on his head, and they got the game to overtime, where the Islanders got the power play, and with some nice passing from Barzal to Bailey for the nice one-timer overtime winner.
The highlight of the night, Pittsburgh beating Washington 7-6 in overtime. Reminded me of the 80s where the last save won.
Yes, yeah. This was the game I watched the most last night, just because the Washington-Pittsburgh games are always high quality. And talk about goals galore, but there was also great goaltending, even though it was a 7-6 game. Braden Holtby, even though letting in 7 goals, he had an amazing toe save on Sidney Crosby in the first period, and then he also robbed Jake Gitzel with another toe save after Crosby set him up in the slot. But yeah, the big guns for Pittsburgh: Malkin a goal, 3 points; Kessel 2 assists; Crosby 2 assists; Letang 2 goals and an assist. And then on Washington's side, they were down 6-4 in the third period with about 5 minutes left, and then Oshie went out and scored 2 goals in about 20-something seconds to tie the game. But yeah, this game had everything in it. But just a great game from Washington, going from shutting out Boston to having a pretty poor defensive game in yesterday's game.
Man, if it wasn't for Holtby, I think it would have been double digits for Pittsburgh in that game. Great home opener for Pittsburgh. And Washington now 13 goals in 2 games. I wonder if they're going to keep that pace up. Teams better learn to shut down and play some defense against them, because that offense, that power play is absolutely crazy, as is the Penguins. Chicago beating Ottawa 4-3 in overtime. Patty Kane with a beautiful backhand winner. Ottawa surprised me, and they came out and played very well, especially I'm going to probably butcher his name, but rookie Matt Lahoy. I probably said it wrong, but he looked great as a 18, 19-year-old defenseman there for Ottawa. What did you like about it?
Yeah. With La Jolla, I think I heard a stat that he only had one goal all year in the American Hockey League, and then he went out and had a goal and 2 points last night. I think Matt Duchene had a pretty slick backhand pass to him in the slot for his first career goal. Also in that, Jonathan Toews had a goal and assist, but that Patrick Kane overtime goal. Oh, that's Kane at his best, being in tight and making those amazing slick moves. But also Craig Anderson also got peppered last night. He faced 43 shots again last night, which looks like that could be a mainstay with the defense that Ottawa is icing this year. But the big guns came out to play. DeBrincat also had a goal, and Brent Seabrook, who's hoping to have a bounce back year from last season, a healthy scratch for that one game, also had a goal last night.
I know Cam Ward's first ever game as a Red Wing. He is victorious with his first win, and I'm sure Red Wing fans are going to like the stability he'll bring to their net.
As a Blackhawk.
Sorry, as a Blackhawk, not a Red Wing. The reason I said Red Wing is because they're next. Columbus.
Yeah.
3-2 in overtime. Friend of the show, Dennis Chalowski from Langley here with his first ever NHL goal. And the bread man scoring a big winning goal. What did you like about that game?
I know, yeah. So, that Panarin overtime winner was great. And seeing Cholowski score that first NHL goal after earning that spot in the starting lineup, even though there are a lot of injuries on that Detroit back end with Jonathan Ericsson, Nicholas Cronwell, and Mike Green all on IR to start the year. Howard had a pretty solid game. He faced 39 shots in the loss. But I think the big surprise here was Bobrovsky not starting the season opener. I know Columbus with the back-to-backs and with the travel usually split, but usually Bobrovsky is that big workhorse and would usually probably play back-to-backs. I think that was the big shocker there. But Panarin and Bobrovsky, both UFAs coming up at the end of the year, both trying to get that big money going into this following season.
And next game, the Young Rangers losing 3-2 to the Nashville Predators. They look good, even though they came out on the wrong side of the scoreboard. Lundqvist looked sharp, and man, Philippe Forsberg has quite the shot, as does his line mates Ryan Johansson and Craig Smith. What did you like about that game?
Yeah, well, that Nashville back end, man, these guys can just pick up points at will. PK Subban with an absolute bomb from the point with the goal, and Ellis also had an assist, and Matthias Ekholm also had another two assists on that back end. It makes things so much easier on the forwards when you have such a great defense that can move the puck and get them into those offensive situations. And having a backbone with Pekka Rinne making 34 saves last night. Actually, the game winner in that game was actually an empty netter. The Rangers scored a late goal to make it 3-2. So both goalies were solid, he said, with Lundqvist also having a nice, good game.
Yeah, the Rangers scored the Predators scored an empty netter with about 45 seconds to go. Then the Rangers scored with about 32 seconds to go, but they weren't able to tie it back up. Winnipeg in search of telling everybody that last season was not a fluke, that they are on a quest, beating St. Louis 5-1 with Connor Hellebuyck with 41 saves. And, of course, on our Facebook page, Patrick Laine with an absolute bomb for a goal. What did you like about that game?
Yeah, well, Connor Hellebuyck stood on his head for the Jets. Even though they won 5-1, Hellebuyck made 41 saves last night, including an incredible blocker save coming across. So I believe Ryan O'Reilly, if I remember correctly. But he also had another big save in the second period where he came across with a huge pad save. And then Adam Lowry ended up getting the puck and going on a breakaway and scoring 5-hole on Jake Allen, who is the biggest question mark on the St. Louis Blues.
Absolutely.
I think that was my biggest concern that I brought up, was that they have the defense, they have the forwards, but what is Jake Allen going to do in net? And he only made 20 saves on 25 shots by the Jets. But the Jets' top line, each player had 2 points, in Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Blake Wheeler, along with Christian Vesalainen, also picked up his first career NHL point last night.
On to the next game, Dallas. Behind Ben Bishop's shutout, winning 3-0 over the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, so Ben Bishop looked really solid in net. Also, I had a bit of luck on his side. I think he, about 4 minutes left in that game, he had a shot go off the post and off his back and stayed out. But he was really solid in net. But I think the Stars had a really explosive second period, scoring all 3 of their goals in a matter of about I believe a minute and a half. Especially Alexander Radulov scoring a really, really nice goal, and his excitement on that goal was was really fun to watch.
On to the next one, we have I'm going to butcher it. No, Colorado winning their home opener against Minnesota Wild 4-1 with 2 empty net goals. And their big guys looking solid all night. McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog. What did you like about that game?
Yeah, well, the big two in Mikko Rantanen and Nathan McKinnon. The McKinnon goal, that Rantanen's pass, it was as perfect as you can get. It's if you watch it, it's he basically gets pretty close to the goal line and throws an absolute dart across the ice to McKinnon, who doesn't really have any room either to put that puck in the net, but he just squeezed it by Dubnyk. But even Varlamov, even though he wasn't overly busy, when he did have his chances, there were a lot of high-end chances that he faced, but he basically stopped them all except for the one. But yeah, a good start for Colorado. That back end that they beefed up in the offseason looked really good as well.
And my favorite game of the night, to last but not least, Philadelphia surprising the Vegas Golden Knights 5-2 on the top of Wayne Simmons' 2 goals. And I don't think it was a bad game by Marc-Andre Fleury, but they did pull him. A lot of quick back-to-back goals in the second period by Philadelphia, as Vegas seemed to take a step back from last year. Maybe it was the nerves, home opener, not sure, but I'm not too ready to count them out just yet. But maybe Vegas might be Vegas this year, like we were expecting last year. What did you like about that game, though?
Yeah, well, the big guns from Philadelphia really came out to play. But Brian Elliott, especially in the first half of the first period, where Marchessault had that quick goal, but before the Flyers were able to get their footing, he really stood on his head, making a few really big key saves. And then with the Flyers, they basically got all the bounces. I know there was a few. I know Simmons on one of his goals, Fleury came across and got a good piece of it with his arm, and then it just trickled across the goal line for a couple of those goals. But yeah, Vegas just couldn't really get any bounces going their way. But the big guns and some of their younger guys, Scott Lawton had a really nice tip for a goal that Fleury didn't really have any chance on. And JVR also picked up an assist in his debut back with the Flyers.
Well, hopefully for Marc-Andre Fleury's interests, that the team performs a little better in front of him next game. As you know, I don't know if he can carry them like he did all playoff long through an entire 82-game season. So hopefully that team, smartens up a bit. So NHL news today. Why don't you bring us up to date with a couple of signings and a couple of injury reports as well?
Yeah, so Drew Stafford was signed to a 1-year deal by the New Jersey Devils worth $810K. This comes on the heels of Jesper Bratt breaking his jaw in practice today and being out 2 to 3 weeks. Just just a freak accident, just taking a puck to the face in practice. Along with the Toronto Marlies are shoring up their goaltending with all the losses they had, giving Jeff Glass an American Hockey League signing. Also, to go along with some injuries, Travis Hamonic, who was in that fight with Erica Branson on the weekend, suffered a facial fracture in his week-to-week. They've called up Rasmus Anderson from the Islanders, but Dalton Prout will take his spot in the lineup tomorrow.
And Dalton Prout, of course, adding a little bit of toughness, maybe some retribution. Maybe we'll see a Prout and Goodbranson fight. I'm not sure if that's what they wanted, but we'll see how that game goes. Lots of hockey on the schedule for this weekend. We, of course, will not be here on Monday due to the Canadian Thanksgiving. We'll be back next Tuesday. Final words before we end today's episode, Matt.
Yeah, so tomorrow I believe both you and I have hockey. So my Canucks report after the game will probably come early or later Sunday morning, just because we'll be out in the evening. So, but yeah, I'll try to post as much of the highlights from Saturday as I can before I have to head out for the evening. But thanks for everybody who's liked all our videos. And please comment, because I like interacting with you guys, even though if it is some arguments that we each have our own views. But that's the best thing about hockey fans. Everybody has their own opinions about everything. But yeah, I really enjoy that.
Tell your friends about us. Remember to like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, comment below right here. As Matt just said, we absolutely love interacting with you. Thanks again for your support. And we will be back next Tuesday with the next episode of B&B Hockey Talk. Have a great long weekend. For all you Canadians, have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Eat lots of turkey or whatever your traditions are. And be safe, everyone.